Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I was up at my son's house yesterday. We spent most of the day up there, and it was a lot of fun. My grandson, who is 1 year old, was driving his fire truck. He has a little electric fire truck which we gave to his brother, uh, who has since outgrown it. It's a little electric fire truck that he can ride on. And at 1 year old, he was out steering it around the driveway and having a blast. It's got a little foot pedal that you step on to make it go. He was stomping on that pedal and giggling all the way around the whole driveway. The only thing we had to do is make sure he didn't run out in the street because he was headed downtown. Well, the topic of this video is actually about maintenance, because that's what I've done for, I don't know, since I was 18. Repair things, make sure that they work and that you keep them up so that they do keep working. Well, one of the things that we talked about yesterday was my son had a frost-free faucet for his garden hose, and he had sprung a leak in that line while he was at work. His wife walked downstairs and discovered that there was water on the basement floor. They do have a floor drain, which is great, but the floor drain only drains just a small section of the floor right around the drain. So they had a half inch of water on the floor for quite a bit of the floor. It also sprayed into the storeroom, which is where the pipe broke, and it was back in the back on top of a rack, not easily seen because it was a storeroom and everything was packed in there. Well, we had worked on his plumbing a couple of times, and Ryan knew exactly where the shutoff valve was and was able to tell his wife where the shutoff valve was over the phone, and she shut off the water and got it working. Got the house taken care of. They couldn't flush the toilets and they couldn't get a drink of water, but at least the pipes weren't leaking. So Ryan, on the way home, stopped and got a shark bite fitting and cut off the leaking pipe and capped it, which fortunately it was just the garden hose, and that's all it did. Well, when I got there, we were talking about it, and the shark bite fitting is a great idea, and it works. It'll make it so that he can take care of it. He'll just have to unscrew the two screws that hold the frost-free fitting to the outside of the house and pull the pipe out of the wall, fix the pipe. When we replaced his shower head, we had a hands-on experience with him learning how to solder pipe, so he's fully skilled in doing that, and he'll be able to make the repairs on his own, which is great. That means I've succeeded as a father and as a teacher, and making it so that he's capable of managing his own life. Now, a lot of people are in a similar situation. You've got a big investment in your house. There's a lot of parts and pieces in there, things that you need to take care of, and when you have to call somebody in to take care of it, it costs a fortune. It's $100 an hour to get anybody to come in and do anything. And I'm not knocking the guy doing the work, because, prices went up. Somebody printed out a ton of money and threw it around the world and devalued all of our money and property and everything else. So, yeah, it costs a lot of money. And when you're on a fixed income like I am, you have to be very careful about not just throwing money around. Back when I was working, it was no big deal have somebody come in and do something, because I was at work and it was hard to get the time off to take care of everything. But now, I want you to be able to take care of minor problems on your own. One of the things you should always have is a shutoff valve that shuts off the water in the house. Now, it can be one that you put in, one that was there when you bought the house, but in either case, you need to identify that valve, and you need to put a big tag on it that says main shutoff. and then take everybody in the family that's capable of understanding it down and show them where that valve is and what to do if there's a water leak. Because, you know, things happen. Uh, Pipes spring a leak, faucets break and won't shut off. Sometimes your garden hose, the line going to your garden hose breaks a leak, springs a leak. Especially if you buy a house that a handyman lived in. I hesitate to say that because I'm basically a handyman. But not everybody has the same skill set, and not everybody is good at it. So when you buy a house and somebody's been doing their own repairs, you have to go through and check and make sure that they are good repairs, because you'll find a whole lot of people using electrical tape to seal off things that shouldn't be sealed off that way. So that's just a simple tip. Mark where the main valve is to shut off the water to the house. Also, you need to find the clean out for the drain so that you can, if you need to, if you could have a drain that's plugged, you can go down to the hardware store and buy a snake and clean out the problem. It's really easy. It's not a hard thing to do at all. If it's a long distance and tough to get to, and you have the resources and can afford to have somebody come in and do it, yeah, that's a great way to go, because they've got equipment that you don't have. But if you're down on your money, and most of us are anymore, being able to fix it on your own is a great thing to be able to do. So find that clean out. And if you need to, have somebody show you where it is. There's a brother-in-law, father-in-law, son-in-law, cousin, somebody who knows a little bit about it. Ask them to come over and walk you through it. Doesn't take much. It does mean that when you have a problem, you can identify the problem, and if you do need to call in help, you can call the right person. You can have the wrong person come, thinking it's one problem and find out it's actually another, and you've just spent money getting something for nothing. Okay, that's plumbing. You got incoming, which is the water pipe, bringing the water in from the street or from your well. If you have a well, being able to shut off the well pump is important too. It's just a breaker. Turn off the breaker, the well pump stops. No water comes into the house, no leaks. Easy to fix. Shut off the pump, then either patch the line yourself or call somebody in to do it, but don't let the house flood. Now, the other thing is when I talk about breakers, the one for your pump, mark the breakers. Now, when an electrician puts in a new service in your house, by code in Michigan, he has to mark all the breakers. Has to identify what each breaker does, what it shuts off, what it turns on. And in my house, when I moved in, it didn't have that. It didn't have breakers. It had plug fuses, little glass fuses that screw in, have a screw on them like a base of a light bulb. Well, I put in a new service. I marked all the wires. I marked all the breakers in the new panel. So when I have a problem, I just walk downstairs and fix whatever the problem is without having to chase around and saying, well, which one is it? Having to shut off multiple breakers just to find it. So those are two things that'll help you a great deal. The major part is mark where the valve is coming into the house, mark where the breaker is for the pump, and mark all the breakers in your panel so that you can shut those off. Now, another thing that I have done over the years is I have decided that there is nothing in the house that doesn't have a valve on it. Every toilet has a valve that shuts off the water going to the tank. Every faucet in the house has a valve underneath it that shuts off the water going to the faucet. So I don't have to shut off the whole house just to work on one line. Valves are inexpensive, and when you look at it from the standpoint of, well, it's going to take me 4 hours to change out the plumbing or change out the faucet on the kitchen sink, and that means nobody can flush the toilet for the whole 4 hours. It's time well spent putting a valve in. So, I'm done talking. Hope you have a better day than I did a week ago when I had to have the septic tank dug up. And one of the things that hopefully this little short message will do is make it so that you're better able to take care of yourself. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.